Welcome back, sports gamers. It's the Natural. Have a few new Madden 19 unreleased details. Many of them came from a recent interview that Clint Oldenburg did with the MBL Network. Be sure to check out the full interview in the description and comment section below, and be sure to follow them on Twitter at MBL Network. So it's a few things that came up in that interview, and these are things that I've touched upon a little bit, but maybe not so much that you guys are aware of. So just going to kind of talk about a few of those, and there's some details that came out in the interview that no one's really talked about applies that. So I'm just going to bring that up and kind of discuss. So starting out, one of the biggest things talked about was real player motion, and that's a much touted feature. And it's something that a lot of people are watching the gameplay that we've been putting out, and the game changers have been putting out, and it's like people are saying, oh, it looks the same, looks the same. It's really a feature that you have to feel, and people that did play in the beta can attest to that. It totally feels differently controlling the players. Some totally different, especially when coming to running the ball. The way the players run is completely different. You have to be much more aware how you use the sprint button. We have some run tips coming out soon that you'll see pretty much how to utilize that, and you can't. It's totally different how you run the ball. If you want to use sharp cuts, you got to lay off that sprint, and you got to use the one cut feature. And if you do want to do more of a rounded weaving in and out cuts, then you can use the sprint button for that, but never use the sprint button behind the line of scrimmage. It's just, you got to give your player time to kind of see the hole, hit the hole, and go through that. And so real play motion, it affects a lot of things with you controlling your players, not just running backs, but catching the ball as receivers, how you turn field. Don't even when you catch the ball with a receiver on something underneath route or drag, don't hit turbo right away. Kind of get upfield first, then hit turbo. So also you mentioned that the devs will see how people utilize real player motion and make changes needed. It's still something that they're really perfecting, but I think it's something that they can build upon coming from this year 19 into 20 real player motion. It really provides a lot of animation smoothness in animations, and what it basically does, it chooses the best animation, and that when you're running, when you're catching, when you're doing everything, it chooses the best animation to utilize that makes the most sense, that looks the best. So I know a lot of people, they say here animation and they think negative thoughts, like animation is what makes the game look good, what makes the game look smooth. So it has to be a balance of control and animation. If you have no animations, you have instant control, but it won't look like a football game. It'll look like some arcade grab. It won't look anything like real football. So you need those animations so the game will actually look like football. So also they touched upon some of the new player ratings, and specifically about the linemen's run block finesse, run block power. And this is a point that came out there that's I don't know one talk about that, is that actually it's not just on the type of block, but the type of play call. So if you call a zone running play, an inside zone, an outside zone, a stretch, off tackle run, it uses the lineman's run block finesse rating. And if you call a power run, like a smash, a dive, those type of runs, it uses the run block power rating. So it's actually the type of play called will affect what type of rating. So for instance, let's say you run a lot of stretches and zones of that nature, which are pretty much popular last year and still effective this year. You can focus on linemen who have more run block finesse. You don't need big, powerful guys. You need more finesse type blockers. So how you build your team can differ depending on that. So that's one cool thing that I think no one's really mentioned about how that specifies how the ratings affect your play calling and things of that nature. Another thing was the RPOs, or run pass options. If people are aware, that was really blew up. It's been in NFL for years. Been in college for years, but just coming to mainstream media. So people were saying, basically they made a point that they aren't in the game Madden 19, and the biggest problem is that it's something that touches all facets of gameplay, affecting multiple systems: the blocking system, the running system, passing, the defense reaction. So it's really going to be a major feature for them to implement. So it's not something that they can do in an update or a patch. I honestly would not be surprised if we don't see something like that in maybe Madden 20 or even 21. It's a huge undertaking that involves a lot of different systems. So Clinton basically said that it would have to be something that would have to be the main feature point of a game, because it would take that many resources to make RPOs happen. So it's just really not an easy thing there. So another thing that did get some work is how the game handles pass interference. So now a lot of things people get upset about. They were able to bump receivers, knock receivers off their route, get in the way, and cause picks, cause interceptions. So now stopping the wide receiver before they get to their spot will trigger pass interference. And also, they've unlocked the hit stick, meaning that you can use it at any time. In the past, if there was a receiver coming across the line of scrimmage, whatever, you can only hit stick when he had the ball. Now the hit stick, you can hit stick at any time. Like, I got some gameplay on the channel where receiver came across the middle. As soon as he caught the ball, took 2 steps, and I blew him up, and it was a fumble, and it looked really good. So that's something hit stick has been unlocked. So if you use it early, it can actually cause pass interference as well. So that's another thing that people have been complaining about for a while, that they do have the pass interference in the game now. So I'm not sure how they'll do it in the head-to-head, if they'll have penalties on or off. But I know for, of course, sim modes and CFM, penalties are on. So we'll notice that more. I noticed that in the head-to-head game that I had there. Even me, it was a deep ball thrown, and I was step for step with the receiver, and I kind of took control and cut across his path to get in front to go for a pick, and they called pass interference. I hindered the receiver from getting down the field. I slowed him down with my player. They called pass interference. So it's pretty sensitive, So curious to see what you guys, when you get your hands on the game, how you feel about that. It's on the sliders. Sliders have not been touched, but it is something they would like to work on in the future. I know that's something people had a big problem with, especially the sim community and the guys with leagues that are and offline guys use a lot of sliders and slider sets. They haven't made any changes with that. So pretty much, any slider sets you use for last year, you can kind of tweak that a little bit, maybe for the running game, because the running game is much different this year. Kind of tweak that a little bit and tweak the pass interference a little bit, since that's been kind of pumped up. But for the most part, you should use a lot of the same sliders as you did last year. And on to one of the biggest difference in Madden 18 and Madden 19, as far as AI, will be the AI controlled quarterbacks. Recognize pressure better, will get the ball out quicker. AI play calling will be more diverse in how they call their plays, so you aren't running the same plays on each game. And that's something I mentioned in the previous video. That's something, a big thing, that they actually, there was an issue before with the playbooks where they were only calling a small amount of the plays out of a playbook. So there's been more the more the playbook has been opened up to the AI, so you see more variety in the plays that they run. And honestly, I only play in online leagues. I only play head-to-head or mud head-to-head. I'm not a big offline guy, but playing the computer to me was probably more enjoyable than ever. I'm not a big computer guy. It's not really fun to me, but in Madden 19, that's one of the things I did notice. I actually enjoyed playing the computer more than previously. So I think it's some good AI improvements, and I do play on all Madden. So I think more people will be able to play on all Madden this year and have fun with it. I know a lot of people have complaints that there was no in between all Madden and all pro, and so they would have to have all Madden with toned down sliders, all pro with juiced up sliders, and they couldn't really find that right fit. I think this year would be a good year. You can play on all Madden if you're a pretty good player and not have to touch the sliders that much. But we'll see as we get more hands on the game. So zone coverage was improved. You cover 4, the deep zones, the hook zones, quarters new, cover 3, cover 4 concepts were added. They expanded upon realistic coverage concepts and rules. There were a number of different cover 4 added in that weren't in the game before. The cover 3s. Gonna do a breakdown of some of the new zones and really go. I want to do a detailed breakdown and really go over each one this year and the new ones that were added, and they really changed a lot how the coverages play this year. A lot of the rules, it's a lot more man matching in zone. So you'll have call a zone, but let's say a receiver runs a post and the corner will run with them. Now he won't just, it's not like spot drops. So once they come into their zone, they'll match that receiver, they'll match that player in their zone, and they'll actually run with them through the zone. So a lot of cases it makes the coverage better and tighter, but in some cases with a switch or a route where you have a post and then the back out the backfield and a wheel route, it can get wide open because the corner that was in that cover 3 is gone because he man matched and ran with the post. It's really like real NFL concepts, right? When the wheel route is open like that. So I think people will have to learn the little intricacies and some of the rules of the new zones that they have in the game, and that's what I really want to work on and bring some content out to you guys to kind of explain how all the new zones work in the game, how some of the old zones that weren't in the game work. And man coverage was good. Man coverage in the beta was really good. And then the patch, and they toned it down some. So I mean, I kind of like how they had man coverage previously. But the biggest problem though is that they can't make man coverage too overpowered, because if they make it too good, there's guys out there like, I think it was 3 years ago, where they would just literally just sit in man every single play. And no one's having fun in Madden when you're playing versus people who just coming out in man lock, cover 2 man every single down. That makes the game not fun. When people are running the same plays over and over again, that makes the game not fun for anybody. I mean, competitive guys, a lot of times they don't mind that, but the average player, sim players, we like to mix things up. We have to place guys online and running the same thing over and over again. It's always a problem, so people don't like that. And another thing, speaking of running the game, running things over and over again, the fact that the AI, people want the AI to make adjustments for them. A lot of times they want people to run plays, and then the computer will recognize that and then stop those plays. That's another big thing, the issues that they have with developers is, do they allow people to make the adjustments on their own, or do they have something in the game where the AI recognizes, what somebody's doing and then they stop it? So let me know what you guys think about that one. For me, I'm more on the side of you got to make your own adjustments if somebody's running the same play over and over again. But some people really want to see the computer kind of recognize that more and stop those plays when someone's doing the same thing over and over again. So one of the teams and player celebrations that were added this year, and additional celebrations will be added at some point post-launch. There's a ton of new celebrations in the game, some old ones as well, and also you've seen a lot of the new team celebrations. Make sure you check those videos out we have on the channel about celebrations and how to do them. But also they're gonna add some new celebrations after the game comes out. So this is more towards a continued Madden being a continuous development cycle. There'll be more patches to improve the game, and I don't know why people get so mad about that. Like, they get mad when the game gets patched. Like, that's a good thing. It's improving the game. Now, there was one patch last year that actually broke other things that they were trying to fix. So I mean, no one's in favor of that. But the fact that when the game comes out and it's improving, and like last year they added in audibles in the fly, which was a great feature, like mid-year, that's a continuous development. That's something we should all be happy about, because if you've been playing Madden for a long time, you remember the days where the game would drop, and if it was something broken in it, if there was something wrong, even the rosters, you had to wait till the next year to get that updated. So to me, it's just crazy when people are mad when stuff gets fixed in the game. They're like, oh, it all should be in there at launch. There's no game like that. You can't name any game, period, not one modern game that comes out and there's no patches that come out for it later. So I think it's ridiculous that people think that Madden is any different than there's been God of War patches. There have been huge No Man's Sky patches. There have been NBA 2K patches. Any game you name, they're going to have patches later to fix and improve the game. So that's a part of continuous development. I think we continue to move more and more towards that, and just have like a live service that you just pay for, just like the Origin PC this year. You pay that $99, you get access to all the games, and it's not a yearly thing. It just just like on mobile, whenever the new updates come out, it just keeps updating continuously, and it's not the same thing that we have now where it's a brand new game that you pay $60 for every year. So who knows? I mean, if that's a good thing or bad thing for consumers, who knows? But I think that'll help. That'll help the game. I think that'll help the time. They won't have to have as much crunch time when they're putting the game out. I think that'll have a better product for us. So I know that's something they're working towards. So we'll see how that goes. So that was pretty much it. That was a few unreleased things that guys might not have known about the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions about other things in Madden, always try to, super busy, but always try to do my best to respond and talk to you guys in the comments. I know a lot of people haven't been happy about Madden 19 and coverage and things like that have come out, but I think when people get your hands on the game, they'll kind of appreciate and like the game more. So I'm going to have a lot more content coming from Madden 19. Also a lot of 4K. I'm going to be big on the PC this year as well. I'm in the CFM Creators League, so stay tuned for that coming to the channel. I'm also in the Premier Madden League. We have some spots open. That's on PS4. If you guys do want to join the league, I'll put that in the description below. So go ahead and sign up there, and hopefully see you guys, and we can get you guys on the channel, get some head-to-head and some franchise action. So hope you liked the video. As always, if you did, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more Madden 19 content and also exclusives from your favorite sports game here at SGO. It's The Natural, sportsgamersline.com. I'm out.